Today, we pause to remember the lives of remarkable people who have recently passed away. These were individuals who inspired the world with their talent, their passion, and the stories they shared with millions. Over the past few days, some have left us suddenly, while others after quiet struggles. But all of them made a lasting impact, leaving memories and moments that will continue to live on. Let's honor them together. Michael Annett, the American race car driver whose steady determination and quiet heart made him one of the most respected figures in NASCAR's Xfinity series, passed away on December 5, 2025, at just 39 years old, with the cause of his passing not yet shared. Born on June 23, 1986, in Des Moines, Iowa, Michael grew up with a deep love for competition, first shining as a talented hockey player and even winning a national junior championship before life gently pushed him toward a different kind of speed. Long before fans knew him for guiding the #1 Chevrolet for junior motorsports, he was a young athlete giving everything he had at Hawkeye Downs, slowly turning small track dreams into a real career. His early victories in the ARCA Menard Series, Talladega in 2007 and Daytona in 2008 showed flashes of what was coming, and by 2009 he was battling through the nationwide series with a calm strength that made teammates and rivals respect him instantly. His years in NASCAR were filled with challenges, injuries, and moments that tested his spirit, including painful leg fractures late in his career. Yet his quiet resilience kept him going, eventually leading him to the brightest moment of his racing life. A beautiful, emotional win at Daytona in 2019, a victory he celebrated with humility and gratitude, giving credit to the people who believed in him. Through 436 combined national starts in trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, Michael never tried to be the loudest voice in the room. He simply worked hard, showed up for his team, and carried himself with kindness, becoming a steadying presence at junior motorsports from 2017 until his retirement in 2021. Those who knew him best remembered a man who was loyal, gentle, and deeply supportive of the people around him, someone who offered quiet encouragement, who laughed easily, and who lifted the spirits of his garage family without ever needing attention. His former teammates and friends shared heartfelt memories, speaking of a person who meant far more to them than statistics could ever show, a friend they loved, a competitor they admired, and a human being whose warmth stayed with you long after the race was over. In his final years, he stepped away from the spotlight to heal and to live peacefully, surrounded by the people who mattered most. Ted Egan, the beloved Australian folk singer, storyteller, and former public servant whose warm voice and bigger-than-life spirit became part of the country's heartbeat, passed away on December 4, 2025, at the age of 93, leaving behind a legacy that touched generations through music, advocacy, teaching, and a lifetime spent walking beside the people of the Northern Territory. Born Edward Joseph Egan on July 6, 1932, in Melbourne, he grew up during the tough Depression years surrounded by love, laughter, and a family that shaped his kind and generous nature. At just 16, he left home for the Northern Territory in search of adventure, not knowing he would spend the rest of his life helping shape its history. His early years were spent in remote communities as a patrol officer, teacher, and advocate, learning local languages, living among indigenous families, and becoming a bridge between cultures long before anyone realized how important that work would be. Those experiences opened his eyes and his heart, leading him to become a powerful voice for Aboriginal land rights in the 1960s and 70s, writing the iconic Gurindji Blues, a song that would echo through the land rights movement for decades. Alongside this, he became one of Australia's most cherished folk musicians, releasing 30 albums beginning in 1969, singing about outback life, history, and the people he loved, often keeping rhythm with nothing more than his famous beer carton Fosterphone, which became a symbol of his down-to-earth charm. His music, books, and stories made him a national treasure, while his dedication to justice, language, and culture made him a hero in many remote communities. In 2003, he was appointed Administrator of the Northern Territory, serving with humility and heart until 2007, representing the region with the same warmth he carried everywhere. He later appeared on television, hosting This Land Australia and The Great Outdoors, always celebrating the country's spirit and landscapes. Honored with the Order of Australia and multiple Lifetime Achievement Awards, he remained, at his core, a gentle storyteller who loved his people deeply. Ted spent his final years in Alice Springs with his partner Nerys Evans, surrounded by the land and community that defined him, and he passed peacefully at home, just as he wished. His family remembered him as a man who lived a big and generous life. And across Australia, tributes poured in for the outback songman whose voice, compassion, and humor shaped a nation. Hiroyuki Tagawa, the legendary Japanese-born actor and producer whose powerful presence made him unforgettable on screen, passed away on December 4, 2025, at the age of 75 after complications from a stroke, leaving fans around the world heartbroken as they remembered the man who brought such intensity and depth to every role he touched. He was best known for playing the iconic sorcerer Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat universe, a character he portrayed across films, series, and video games with a voice and energy that became a part of pop culture history. Born in Tokyo to a stage actress mother and a military father, Gehry spent his childhood moving from place to place before the family finally settled in Southern California, where his love for acting began in high school. His journey to success wasn't easy. He worked different jobs, from farming to driving, before giving acting a real chance in his mid-30s. His breakout came with The Last Emperor, and soon he became a familiar face in major films like Rising Sun, Pearl Harbor, Memoirs of a Geisha, Planet of the Apes, and Tekken, as well as memorable TV work in Lost in Space and his deeply respected performance as Trade Minister Togomi in The Man in the High Castle. Gehry also dedicated much of his life to martial arts and healing practices, creating his own system that reflected the calm and wisdom he carried in real life. In his final years, he continued to inspire younger actors, always generous with advice and support. His passing in his Santa Barbara home, surrounded by his family, marked the end of a long and meaningful journey.